Welcome everyone. Today we are diving into the fascinating world of database design. By the end of this session, you'll learn how to analyze requirements and convert them into conceptual and logical models. So grab a pen and let's get started. First, let's talk about the building blocks of database design: entities, attributes, relationships, primary key, and foreign keys. To make this practical, we'll use an example of an Amazon like system. An entity represents a real world object or a concept in a database. If you need to store information about something for your application to function, it's likely an entity. For instance, we need to store user details, user details like name and email, and order details, and order details like date when the order was placed and the amount of the order. This necessity makes user and order an entity. Now let's move to attribute, which are nothing but the property of an entity. Let's take an example. For the user entity, attribute must be user ID, name, and email. Next up, we have relationship. This describe entities. For example, in our system, a user can place an order, and each order contain multiple products. So this thing is basically a relationship between entities. So every entity needs a primary key which uniquely identifies each record. For the user entity, the user ID serves as the primary key. It ensures that each user is distinct. Even if two users have same name, let's go through an example. Let's suppose we have a table name users where we store information about users, and I need to get detail about a specific user whose name is Seth. If you see in our table, we have two user whose name is Seth. So over here, how do we select our required user? Now, if you observe this closely, we have a field called user ID. Using this, we can uniquely identify each of them. So, using the user ID, we can get our Seth. So, we'll get this one. To link entities together, we use foreign keys. For example, in the order entity, the user ID act as a foreign key, connecting an order to a particular user. This way, we can easily find all the order placed by a given user. Let's understand this using an example. Let's suppose we have two table, name, users, and orders, and we need to find all the orders placed by the user ID 1. Now, if you observe closely, we have a column called user ID, which is common in both of the table. So that's a link connecting both of the table. So using this link, if you see, we can get to know all the orders placed by the user ID 1. Now that we understand the basics, let's return to our main topic, the conceptual model. A conceptual model focuses on high level design without going into implementation details. So over here, you just need to identify entity and relationship. Let's just revisit our requirement from previous video. User management, where we need to track information about users. Inventory management, where we need to track the stock of the particular products and the status of the order that is been placed. Reviews given by the customer to a product. Based on our requirement, here how the conceptual model should look like. So over here we need to find the entities. So in this example, our entity would be users, orders, products, and reviews. And the relationships would look like a user place order, and order include products, and for each product a user can give reviews. Once the conceptual model is clear, we move on to the logical model. Here we define attributes for each entity and establish cardinalities. So for the user entity, the attributes would be the name of sorry for the user entity, the attribute would look like user ID, username, address, phone, email. For order entity, the attribute would be order ID, user ID, order date, and the status of the order, whether it's been delivered or not delivered. For the product entity, we would be having the ID of the product, the name of the product, the price for each one quantity of a product, and the stock of the product that is available in our inventory. Similarly, for the reviews, we would be having review ID and the user who has given the review, to which product it has given the review, and the actual review, which would be in our comment column. Now, before moving further, let's talk about cardinalities. So, cardinalities defines the number of occurrence of one entity that can be associated with the occurrence of another. For example, over here, a user, one user can place multiple orders, but one order cannot be placed by multiple users. So this defines only a single user can order multiple orders. So over here, the cardinality would look like 1 is to many. This relationships helps in designing a database that mirrors our real world scenarios. For example, where we have a cardinality of 1 is to 1, that means over there no duplication is allowed. Each instance is related to only other one. Whereas in case of many is to many, you can see multiple products are added into multiple orders. So if we just take an example of orders and products, you can see we can add we can add multiple products in an order, and similarly one product can be used in multiple orders. So that's why this relationship would be called many is to many. Now we have designed a core logical model, but we'll check if we can answer the following questions. Can we get information about user, like who is seller or who is customer? Let's just check our user entity and see. If you see our user entity, you'll see we do not have any attributes that tell that whether a instance or whether a user is a customer or seller. So what we need to do is we'll add one more column named as roles, where the value would be either customer or seller or admin. Okay, great. So we have correctly answered this question. Then the second question would be, can we get to know how many products are left in inventory? Let's go to our product entity and see. So if you see over here, we have a column named product stock. So using this column, we can tell that okay, for each product, how many quantities are still left in inventory. So we are able to successfully answer this. Can we track the order status? Let's go to our entity. Yeah, I think we have this column called order status, where we can track whether the order has reached the customer, or it's in progress, or it's with delivery guys. So yeah, we have that attribute with us. So we can tell that yeah, we are able to successfully answer this question. Great. Okay, now fourth question. Can we tell which user commented about which product? Okay, just zoom out a little bit. So over here, we would require a user, entity, and review. And we need to find which user has commented about which product. So if you see over here, using the foreign key user ID, we can create a link between these two entities, and we can get to know which user has commented about which product. So yeah, we are successfully able to achieve this as well. Great. Now the last question. Can we identify the number of products ordered by a customer in a single order? If you observe, by a logical model, we cannot answer the number of products available in an order. Like we do not have any foreign key to link order and product table here. So how to achieve this? To clarify the relationship between products and order more simply, if we try to add order ID, let's add it. If we try to add order ID directly in the product table to show which products were, which products were ordered, it would mean repeating each product for every orders. This repetition would create a lot of redundant data and make it harder to manage. Instead, we create we create a separate table named as order details table to link order and products. This table contains order ID to reference the order, product ID to reference the product, quantity to track how many units of product were ordered in that specific order. This structure allows us to track exactly which products were part of which orders, calculate granular details like the number of unit sold for each product, avoid duplicating data in product or order table that we have seen in the above example. By using this approach, we maintain a clean and efficient database design while gaining flexibility to answer questions like which product was sold the most or what is the quantity of specific product in an order. In our next video, we'll dive deeper into the concepts of normalization and denormalization. These techniques help optimize database design for efficiency and performance. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found this session insightful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for some more such content. See you in the next video. Until then, happy designing.